What's up, everybody out there in internet land? It's your brother Moshe coming to you live from the Man Cave. And welcome to the Schizophrenic channel, where you never know what topic of video is going to be posted. Now, we're going to entitle this one Transgenderism and Hormones. But before that, time to take a toke. Now, here's my disclaimer. I have traditional Judeo-Christian morals and beliefs. And just because I have that and I happen to believe in Jesus, it does not mean that transgender individuals or anybody in the LGBTQ community shouldn't be treated with respect. Now, with that being said, before I move on, time to wet the whistle. This is my third one of these today. Absolutely amazing. This is going to be my last one, though. Now, let's talk from a pure hormonal level. And this is based on science. People that were born male naturally will have more testosterone in their hormone levels than estrogen. People that are born female will have more estrogen in their hormone levels than testosterone. Now, I'm going to tell you how important it is for a male to have appropriate testosterone levels and what the impacts and effects it can have to a male mentally, physically, and emotionally. Let's see, I don't know how many years ago it was. I'm going to take a stab in the dark, and I'm going to say about 8 years ago. I'll tell you, I vape like I smoke. I couldn't sleep. I used to maybe, you can't sleep one night. You usually get sleep the next night. You usually crash out pretty early because you didn't get sleep. But this was in full onslaught insomnia. First time I ever had it. I did not sleep for 3 nights in a row. The 4th day is when I had had enough and I went to my doctor. This was a doctor I've been seeing since I was 13, and I switched over from a pediatrician. So I had been seeing him all my adult life. He knew everything. I never ever lied to this man ever about what I was putting in my body or what I was doing in life. And he also had this human side. If you needed, he wanted to know what was going on in your life besides physical stuff. Because he had an understanding that stress and emotional issues can impact the human body and our basic physical nature. And I told him I had been going through some stuff, but he knew I had been through much worse, and I was handling it pretty well. I was a little depressed here and there, but it wasn't really anything that I really couldn't handle or couldn't deal with. Then he also asked me about certain things, and I had been noticing for the previous month, I'd be watching something and I was very moody. Almost like a woman that's going through menopause. And every woman is different and how they go through menopause. But that's the best way I could put it. Extremely moody. I had a panic attack. on the fourth day. First panic attack I ever had in my life. I thought it was a heart attack. Scared the living daylights out of me. Felt like my heart was going to come out of my chest. I was dealing with mild to moderate anxiety prior to that, and mild to moderate depression, but doing everything that I had known, because I went through a lot of stuff when I was younger, and I dealt with depression and anxiety, so I already had a pretty good toolbox on what I needed to do. But this was different. Very, very different. The anxiety I could feel within my body. The depression I could feel within my body. Crying for no apparent reason at all at a thought, or watching a commercial, for Christ's sake. And this had never happened to me before. So he recommended that I go to an endocrinologist. And I did. And he suspected that I had andropause, or low T. Low testosterone. This is hence the importance of testosterone to a male's overall health. And I went, took the blood. They took my blood in the morning time, because this is when testosterone levels are supposed to be the highest in men. And I had already done my research over 2 days, and I researched all the testosterone replacement therapies. My doctor, right off the bat, offered me some sort of a testosterone replacement therapy. I don't remember what it was. And because I've been working in the field of human services, and I heard some really bad things about, androgel, and that it's okay if you take it, but what it does is it can increase your chances of cancer if you have cancerous cells in your body, so on and so forth. So there are some dangers to taking testosterone. But more importantly, it thickens the blood. So he recommended that if I ever did go on testosterone replacement therapy, that I start donating blood to help keep the blood the consistency it was supposed to be. Right? So, okay, well, before I do anything, let me go home and do my own research. So as I was doing my own research, I looked into all natural testosterone supplementation, which you can get at GNC or Vitamin Shop or any of those types of stores in your area. So I says, you know what? I don't want to wait a week for test results. I want to feel better now, because I was going nuts. No sleep, no this, no that. Started me off on Ambien. Ambien got me to sleep, but I was only getting about an hour to an hour and a half sleep a night. That wasn't enough. Then he got me on Ambien CR, and Ambien CR worked very, very well for me. I didn't have any of the negative side effects that some people that take Ambien get. And I was getting at least 4 hours of sleep a night. That was enough for me to function. But once I started to take the testosterone, and he also gave me Klonopin to take at night. Klonopin has a very long, what they call half-life. Take Klonopin, I think it stays in your bloodstream. It's been a while since I've done the research. I think Klonopin stays in your bloodstream about 12 hours. So if you take it at night, before you go to sleep, it usually pretty much lasts you, the effects of it are very long-lasting. Xanax is a very short-acting. And I took the Klonopin for about 3 days, and I really didn't want to take it any longer than that, because benzos and opiates, I don't care what they say, if you take them as you're prescribed and you take them in 3 days, your body does become physically addicted to that drug. I don't care what they say. And then the withdrawal from benzos and opiates. You think a guy that does straight dope has bad withdrawals? You should see somebody withdrawing from opiates or benzos. Not a good thing. So I noticed within 3 days, I went to GNC. The particular guy was the particular guy at the GNC who was the manager was very, very knowledgeable about a lot of different herbs. He had books. He was always going to taking little courses. Like, he was a GNC manager because he really believed in holistic medicine. And I'm a believer in holistic medicine. These are the medicines that we had long before science came along and started tinkering with stuff and messing with all natural things that worked just fine before man messed with it. And stopped taking the Klonopin after the 3 days. And by the time I went to go see the doctor 1 week later, I was right as rain. I wasn't taking Klonopin, Ambien. My mood was fine. And I was just taking all natural testosterone supplementation that you get from GNC or Vitamin Shop. I was going to GNC. So the lesson learned for me was one of the major differences between males and females, and why we do have hormones, and why hormone levels are very, very important to not only our physical health, our mental health. You know, I even started to lose certain muscle definition. My muscles were becoming, you know, a little soft, not like just fat and flabby, but just soft. I didn't feel strong. I did not feel like me at all. I did not know who this person was. Now, I don't know what impacts it has on the human body. I mean, the human body is a wonderful thing, and it definitely adjusts and shifts over a period of time. I still take testosterone supplements to this day. I cycle on, I cycle off. And I notice that if I cycle off too long, I won't sleep as soundly. I'll get a little bit more emotional. My patience level is very thin. It's just not good for my mental health. So, as far as putting a child on hormone blockers, this child may have very simple emotional or mental health issues that could be worked out in therapy. There may be problems in the home. Today in society, you know, males are kind of bashed and beaten on, and men aren't appreciated the way that they should. And everything is about lifting up women and empowering women, and men have kind of been forgotten in the process. So a child doesn't know how to express these things. A child internalizes everything. So if he has this misconception that if he wants to be loved in the world and to be appreciated in the world, that he needs to be a girl, I could see how a boy or a boy could be confused. I can't speak about a female to male. I'm just talking about males. And when I was working in the field of human services, the last job I had, I actually counseled a lot of transgender individuals. And I'm not saying this is you, but a lot of these, they had problems with drugs, alcohol, and their lives just were totally falling apart. And almost every single one of them, if not all, because I just can't remember, it was quite some time ago, over 10 years, they all had some sort of a sexual abuse story or extreme physical abuse story. Before you go ahead and start making decisions to cut things off, and this has nothing to do with my traditional Judeo-Christian morals and beliefs or my belief in Jesus. Of course, I wish spiritually you would just not do that. But it's your life, it's your choice, it's your thing. And I still believe you deserve to be treated with respect and kindness like a human being should be. But you really need to get more information and really research this thing to death before you make decisions to start cutting things off and changing your hormonal levels. With that being said, love y'all. God bless.